Hello, my dear fellow travelers. Welcome back. I hope you have watched my previous video where I have discussed how to prepare your Kundali, how to make your horoscope, basically, how to download the data, the ready made charts, and get your Kundali ready. I hope you have watched it. If not, I'll give the link of that video to you in the description. But it is important to first watch that video, okay? Because once you know how to do it, and it's a very simple process, anyone who has finished his or her secondary school will be able to do it, right? I wish these things were taught in school itself, but anyways, why is it essential? Because once you prepare your kundali, then you are ready, you are all set to interpret it. All right. And in these series of videos, I am going to do my best to deliver some simple stuff. I'm not going to get into the technicalities or the nitty-gritty of things, but something which anyone, even if you have interest in astrology or if you don't have any interest in astrology, it doesn't matter. But simply by looking at your birth chart, is there anything that you can do to design your life or to give a direction to your life? Simple stuff. We are not talking predictions here, but we are talking about taking specific actions, all right, which are in alignment with who you are, right? So that's the whole purpose of starting this series. But if you are interested in learning astrology in depth, do connect with me. I launch a couple of courses every few months, which talks about different aspects of astrology, from the basic to the advanced to the super advanced. I have the basic course, then I also have the nakshatra course now, and I do it one on one, right? I don't take a batch of 100 or 200 students. That's not how astrology is to be uh, taught. But, anyways, okay, I just share my way of teaching or my approach to astrology. So, if you are really interested in knowing the authentic and genuine astrology which you can use in your life, then please get connected. Right now, in this video, I am going to refer to your birth chart, which you can see on your screen. Right, I'll try to zoom in. All right, so this is your lagna chart. All right, if you go back to my previous video, I have mentioned that lagna chart, which is called as the D1, all right, also called as the horoscope. Okay, this is what we mean by horoscope. Horoscope, please don't call it horoscope, all right, although some people do have horoscopes. But jokes apart, it's horoscope. It's the picture of the skies out there. It's a snapshot of the sky at the time and at the place when you were born. All right. No need to know all these, uh, technicalities. But this is, you can look at this horoscope as a snapshot of your life. All right. So this Lagna chart, called as horoscope, called as Kundali, also called as D1 chart, D1, divisional 1. So there are 108 charts. There are 108 such charts. Okay, it's like you go deeper and deeper. These are the microscopic view of your life. So first we have the surface level, then we go deeper, then we go deeper, and so on. And we have such 108 charts. Out of these 108, we are talking about the first chart, the D1, the most important chart. It's the seed of your life. All right. It's the seed of your life. Now, as we go deeper, we go to D2, D5, D9, D10, D60, D65, D108. Slowly and slowly, we try to know the fruits of your life. How will your life manifest? Again, depending upon the skills of the astrologer, he or she will be able to guide you towards that. Okay, again, at the cost of sounding repetitive, let me say, I'm not someone who focuses on mundane predictions. All right. When will I get my job? When would I find my wife? When will I see the face of my child? When will I die? All right. Can these questions be answered using astrology? Yes, they can be, but it's like trying to kill a mosquito with a cannon. All right. It's the it's the least efficient use of astrology. And of course, those who want to go on that path can definitely venture. I'm no one to stop anyone from using astrology the way they want to. Predictions also help, it has got its importance. But what I want to bring to you guys is how you can use astrology in your day to day life for creating the life that is meant for you. All right. For creating or for allowing the life which is supposed to be lived through you. Only then that will provide us with lasting peace. All right. It's a tall goal. It's a noble ambition. All right. I'm not claiming that we will always be able to do it. But yes, we have something, we have some concrete data which aligns with your inner world, with your life, and which you can consciously use every day. So, if you have artistic skills and if you do not explore them in this lifetime, you will live a frustrated life. All right, you can do a 9 to 5 job, you can make some money for your family, but that's not a life well lived. And maybe you will regret uh, in the last phases of your life. All right. So the purpose of astrology, the way I see, is how to utilize it, how to use it. I'm a very practical person on that front, right? So far as astrology is concerned, there is a mystical side to it, of course, I don't deny it, but I'm astonished by what it can offer us even on the mundane level. All right. But very consciously. So, my dear friends, coming back to the Lagna chart, once you have downloaded the data, uh, what I have described in my previous chart, you can see this is how a Lagna chart looks like. I'm now going to talk about little bit about houses, how to recognize what do you mean by a house. Okay, it's also called as the bhava, house. Okay, in Sanskrit, in the traditional terms, it's called as the bhava. Okay, bhav is the house. It's a particular domain of your life. What do you mean by domain? Like my body, it's a domain of life, my health, all right, my relationships. Within relationships, I have my intimate relationships, I have my friends, I have my cousins, I have my siblings, I have my parents, all right. Then another domain could be my business. What do I do for a living? Okay, my financial status. All right, how would I perform at my job? What kind of work suits me? So basically, health, wealth, relationships, finances, charity, spirituality. Okay, all these are different domains of our lives. All right. So the chart that you see on your screen basically is a snapshot of these domains. Okay. Now let us go a little deeper, little deeper. All right. So what do you see on your screen is a bunch of few squares. One, two, three, four. These are the four squares. If you know the geometrical shapes, we have squares and triangles, right? So these are the four squares. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 triangles. 4 squares and 8 triangles. 4 plus 8, 12. So basically, there are 12 domains. So these squares and triangles, which are called as houses, okay, so there are 12 houses, there are 12 bhavas, 12 houses, and each of these houses talk about a specific domain of your life. All right, I'll not go too much uh, into the depth of it. Okay, maybe in uh, future videos I'll try to bring out as many sides of the houses. We will see that, but as of now you understand that your kundali is distributed. Okay, it's structured in a way which manifests, which brings out these 12 domains of your life. All right, now you need to understand how to uh, read these houses. All right, so as I say, there are 12 houses, so you need to know how to number them, how to address them. Okay, so 12 houses, so which is the first house? Okay, so ignore these numbers for a while. I'll draw another kundali here. All right, and it's always a good idea to draw it by hand. That's how the classical astrologers used to do it. Okay, back then we did not have softwares, so you can make the kundali like this. Then you can connect the midpoints. All right, and it's always a good idea to draw a kundali in red ink. I'll not share right now why, but it's uh, some energetic connection, something to do with the planet Mars, Mangal. All right, but not a topic for this video. It's a good idea. It's a good practice to draw your kundali in red pen, red ink. Now, I would want you to ignore these numbers for a while. 3, 4, 5. I'll talk about that later. Okay? And focus on these numbers that I draw. So this is house number 1. This is the first house, the first square that you see over here. This is the first house. This is the first house. All right. As I said, ignore these numbers. Don't have to bother about these numbers. Forget about it. All right. So first house, and you have to approach this kundali, this chart, in a, what do you call it? Anti-clockwise. All right, anti-clockwise from left to right. So the first house, then this is the second house, the third house, the fourth house, the fifth house, the sixth house, the seventh house, the eighth house, ninth house, 10th house, 11th house, and finally the 12th house. So we have 12 houses. All right, again, let me repeat. I have numbered the houses. All right, you need to ignore the numbers that have been mentioned, that have been addressed in those houses. Ignore as of now and focus on how the houses are numbered. So, to summarize, we have 4 squares and 8 triangles together, collectively known as Kundali, Lagna chart D1, and your numbering starts from the first square, the face of your chart. All right, the face of your chart where I've written 1. Okay, this is called the first house. Pratham bhava, dvitiya bhava, tritiya bhava, chaturth bhava, pancham bhava, and so on. All right, I'll not use too many uh, Indian terms or Sanskrit terms, but I'll use them where really required because I want you guys to understand things. Okay, so we have these 12 houses which I have numbered. All right, now let us come to the numbers that have been addressed in those houses. Now you can see this is how your Kundali will look in AstroSage. All right, so first thing, go to astrosage.com, download the charts. I've explained it in the previous video. Do that first. You have Lagna chart and the Navmansh chart. From these two, I'm focusing right now on the Lagna chart, the face of your Kundali, the first chart of your Kundali. All right. Now, in your face, on your face, the first house, you will see a number written 3. Like in this chart, you will see 3. Now, this number that you see is different in different charts. You might have 6, you might have 1, you might have 8 year, you might have 10 year, you might have 7. It can be any number from 1 to 12. But remember, the house is always the first house. So try to understand this from a metaphor that this is like a home, all right? But the name can be different. But the home is always the home. All right. So this will always remain the first house in everyone's chart. In your chart, in my chart, my friend's chart, my enemy's chart, my guru's chart, everyone. Okay. This house will be the first house, but the name will be different. The quality will be different. All right. So this chart has three, and we'll talk about what these numbers mean. All right. But your chart might have 6 or 4 or 12, whatever. All right. But the house is always the first house. So in this chart, the first house has number 3. In case of your Kundali, the first house might have number 12. All right. I hope you got it. So the numbering of the houses always remain constant. First house will be first house, 10th house will be 10th house in everyone's chart. But this number, which are basically the zodiac signs, which is what I'm going to talk next about. All right. So these zodiac signs, these numbers would be different in everybody's chart, but it will be between 1 and 12 because there are 12 zodiac signs. All right. Now, I'll I'll write the names of these zodiac signs, these numbers that you see. All right. But before that, let me also tell you a couple of things. The first thing, this house, the first house, all right, because I need to mention it here, is called as the Lagna. This is the Sanskrit term, nothing to do with marriage. Lagna, because in some languages like Marathi, Lagna means, marriage. But this Lagna is the Sanskrit Lagna. All right. So in English, we call it ascendant. Ascendant. The first house is called as Lagna or ascendant. So henceforth, whenever I say ascendant, you need to understand I'm talking about the first house. Now, my dear friends, the first house is the most important house in your chart. I'll repeat, the first house is the most important house because the first house is you. You, your body, your mindset, your mental setup, your mental condition, your approach, your attitude towards life, your body, your bodily features, your height, your weight, your health, okay, not diseases, your health in general. So basically, first house gives away a lot of idea about your life. Of course, all these 12 houses are important. They have a role to play, very important role to play, all of these 12 houses. But the first house is like uh, the introduction of your life. So many a times when I look at my client's chart, the first house itself tells me the entire life story. But of course, that comes with practice. All right. The first house is that important. All right. I hope things are clear to you. Okay. So now let me talk about these numbers that you see. Like in the first house in this chart, I have 3. So it starts from 1, which is which house? This is 11th house, right? This is the 11th house. In the 11th house, I have 1. In the 12th house, I have 2. In the first house, I have 3. In the second house, I have 4, and so on. These numbers would be different in every chart. All right. Now, what are these? What are these numbers? What are they all about? So these numbers are popularly called as signs, but here I would love to use the traditional Vedic names. I'll call it Rashi. Rasi. Okay, to be more accurate in terms of Sanskrit terms, Rasi. Okay, can be pronounced as Rashi. All right, which are nothing but the zodiac signs. Now, here I would like to again bring up something which is important, little controversial, and that is we are not here talking about the Western astrology, which is dependent on only your birth date. Let us say my birth date is 29th May, so I am a Gemini. All right. My birth date is August, 3rd of August, 4th of August, so I am a Leo. No, not at all. That's not how Vedic astrology works. Vedic astrology is a lot more deeper, lot more nuanced. In fact, let me tell you something. All the zodiac signs behave in one or the other way through your life experiences. So never say I'm a Gemini, never say I'm a Piscean, never say I'm a Leo. No. Each of these 12 domains of your life will reflect a particular kind of zodiac sign, which means all zodiac signs belong to me. I'm not a Gemini. I'm not a Sagittarius. I'm not a Pisces. I'm not an Arian. I'm everything. All of these zodiac signs will work out through me. That's the beauty of Vedic astrology, which I feel is absent in Western astrology. Western astrology has a good role to play. I'm not uh, belittling it or I'm not demeaning it. It has some significance, but even the Western astrologers agree that you can't compare Western astrology with Vedic astrology when it comes to depth, usefulness, practicality, and also predictions. All right. So this is not to bias you against Western astrology, but I'm here to tell you that that is not what we are going to deal with. This is not a newspaper or a media hyped astrology. All right, just see what is the prediction for a Gemini today. Okay, what does it say about Taurus? All right, I'm a May born, I'm a Gemini. Okay, what is in store for me today? That's the most misrepresented form of astrology. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something which was created more than 5,000 years ago by sages who were really kick-ass sages. Okay, I'm not here to give it a religious tone because 5,000 years ago, I'm sure, and you can even use your common sense, and you can understand that things would have been very different from what we are being told about religion today. The narrative that is going on in the world out there is not the real stuff. That's all. That's what I can tell you and assure you. The real Vedic literature or the sages, the enlightened masters who created this art or who channeled this art, okay, from the divine realms, they had a very different purpose and they were not conservative, they were not fundamentalists, they were not what we actually see out in the world today. But anyways, that was a little bit of uh, uh, you know a rant which I had to give out because people associate astrology with religion, people associate astrology with all sorts of negativity. Okay, and I was blessed and I was honored, or I feel honored, I feel fortunate that I got to learn astrology from some of the most genuine masters, some Indian, some foreign. And my mind blew off when I came to know about the real side of the Vedic astrology. In fact, it also saddened me because what is going on in the name of Jyotish and Vedic astrology today is utter rubbish. Okay. But, anyways, coming back. So I'll write the names of the Rashis, and they are common in Vedic as well as Western. Okay. And that's again the beauty of things. Rashis remain common. The qualities of Rashis are also the same. Like Aries in Western astrology is also what Aries is in Vedic astrology. All right. So these are the common parts. So the first sign is Aries, also called as Mesh. I'll not write it. I'll just say it. The second zodiac sign is Taurus, also called as Vrish or Vrishabha. The third sign is Gemini. You can also pronounce it as Gemini, Gemini, Mithun Rashi. The fourth is Cancer, and I highly condemn this name. All right, I don't like this name, Cancer. It could have been something really beautiful, okay, because it's a beautiful sign. Kark Rashi, something to do with the emotional side of things, the nurturing side of things, the feminine side of things. All right, but let's call it Cancer, okay, Kark Rashi. The fifth is Leo, Singh Rashi. Sixth one is your Virgo, Kanya Rashi. Also, in your local language, these names have different alternatives. Okay, but I'm just mentioning the Sanskrit names. Seventh is Libra, right? Also called as Tula Rashi. Tula Rashi, all right? Eighth is Scorpio. Now, I'm sure you guys must be recognizing this fact that these names relate to some animals and creatures. Animals, creatures, birds, strange figures. All these are the symbolic aspects of astrology, which I really go into the depth of in my courses. All right. And it has got tremendous significance. Tremendous significance. All right. Those Vedic sages who created this beautiful art had something in their mind, all right, to convey. So, Scorpio. Then we have Sagittarius, Dhanu Rashi. Sagittarius, Dhanu Rashi. Then we have the Capricorn. By the way, Scorpio is called as Vrishik Rashi. Vrishik Rashi. All right. Then we have Dhanu Rashi, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Makar Rashi. Then we have Aquarius, Kumbh Rashi. All right. One of the most mysterious signs. And 12th, the last one, my favorite, Pisces, Meen Rashi. All right, so we have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. This numbering always remains constant. So 3 always is a Gemini, 8 always is a Scorpio, 11 always is an Aquarius, always. So in a way, you'll have to, if you want to really explore things in astrology, you'll have to learn this series. Not a big deal, right? We have mugged up, parroted so many things in our school, utterly useless stuff. Why not now learn something useful? Why not memorize something really, really useful? All right. Okay. So in this video, I'm not going to teach you how to read chart and all that. The purpose of this particular video is just to make you aware of the houses, the 12 houses, and how these 12 signs are embedded in your in these 12 houses. And this embedding is different for different people. And here where the fun begins. All right. Like this particular chart has Gemini embedded, cultured into, rooted into the first house. The DNA of the first house is Gemini. So if you really understand the Gemini sign in depth, you will understand a lot of things about this person. Now, again, this person might not be having a birth date between what 15th May, 16th May, and 16th June, 17th June, the typical, the Western sun sign model. No, this person could have been born in December, but has a Gemini Lagna. By the way, it's also called as ascendant, which I have already told you. It's also called as rising, Rising, Gemini rising. So you can have a Gemini rising, you can have a Libra rising, you can have a Capricorn rising. Rising is the sign in your first house, the Lagna, which is you. All right. And remember, I'll repeat this again. It has got nothing to do with your sun sign, which is modeled across Western astrology. So if you want to continue on this channel, if you want to continue watching my videos, this is the first thing you need to understand. Or maybe I would want you to drop completely. All right. If you want to really explore the true side or the useful side of astrology, then I would want you to keep aside the parameters of Western astrology for a while. So if you're born on 25th May, all right, I'm born on 25th May. What is my sun sign? My sun sign is Gemini. No, I'm not talking about that sign. I'm talking about the sign, no matter when you are born, what is your birth date, no matter, irrespective of those things, what is the sign in your first house? What is your ascendant sign? What is the rising sign? That is what I'm talking about right now. Maybe this person is born in October. So, as per, or maybe December, Sagittarian or Scorpio, all right, as per the Western sign. But right now, this person embodies the qualities of Gemini for me. The nakshatras, the esoterisms of Gemini are important for me. Okay, you can ignore these words as of now. I'm just saying them to you, but understand that sun sign is not what I'm talking about right now. So you're born on in December, maybe you're a Sagittarian. I don't know. If you're born on 25th of October, 28th of October, maybe you're a Scorpio. I don't care. I'm interested in what sign has been embedded in your first house, what sign is embedded in your second house, what sign is embedded in your third house. That is what I'm talking about right now. And that is how we are going to interpret your charts. All right. I hope things are uh, understood by you. And I'm doing my best to simplify it. I'm trying to teach you these things as if I'm teaching uh, to a school kid. And we all are school kids when it comes to astrology. Even I'm a school kid. I don't know even 1% of astrology. It's an ocean. It's something beyond ocean, actually. You can maybe, the best of the best astrologers can maybe pocket one or two drops out of the huge, unending ocean, deep ocean. All right. So I'm doing my best to bring it to a level where all of us can understand and use it. So if I ask you, make a chart, make your horoscope in AstroSage, and tell me the sign in your first house, will you be able to do it? All right. Like if someone has now, before we proceed further, I know some of you would be immediately, your attention would go on these VERASAMOKE. Well, I'll talk about it in my further videos. Okay. Keep it blank. So basically, these are planets. VE is Venus, RA is Rahu, MA is Mars, SU is Sun, ME is Mercury, Moon, Ketu, Saturn, Jupiter. Ignore all these planets and keep the chart blank. The blank chart with the Gemini ascendant will look like this, right? It's a Gemini ascendant. It's a blank chart. No planets, no grahas. I'll talk about grahas later on. So we are like, assume we are preparing. pizza for our dinner. So first we have the dough, right? The base. Then we add some toppings. Then we heat it up. All right. I'm not teaching you how to prepare pizza. I'm sorry. But I need to give you these metaphors, these analogies, so that you understand. Right now we don't have that tadka, that uh, dash of planets. We don't have grahas here. We only have the raw chart, which is called as the blank chart, with houses and the signs. So maybe you have a chart like this. I don't like using black ink for making chart, but it's your preference. You can choose to. Then I choose the midpoints. You can decide how you want to make it. Join these points. All right, this is how I would also love to make it. And then cross the diagonals. All right, this is how you prepare a kundali with your hand. Okay, so maybe you have number 5 here. So you are a Leo ascendant. Your rising is Leo. Or maybe you have number 8 here, you're a Scorpio rising. Or maybe you have number 12 here, you're a Pisces rising. You might be, you may have your birth date as 3rd of May. 3rd of May, all right? I don't know what sign you are of using Western astrology. But I am interested in the sign over here. So you could be, you are born in May, but you could be a Piscean for me. You have a Pisces rising. So for me, you are a Piscean. This is the beauty of Vedic astrology. And this video I'm specially making so that, a lot of my friends or my acquaintances, they quickly message me, sir, I am Sarvesh, not sir. So a lot of my students address me as sir, which I don't like. So they say, Sarvesh, I'm a Piscean. I'm a Taurus. I say, no, you are not. Just get out of that uh, mental trap. Western astrology is a different ball game. It is a different purpose. Ignore it for a while. If you want to really understand astrology, then based on my experience, I feel Vedic is the way. And even Western astrologers, the Western culture, they have agreed to this. A lot of people from the West, from US, from Europe, they travel down to India to learn Vedic astrology because they know, they have realized what is really valuable. Again, this is not to create a controversy and this is not to condemn Western astrology. This is not to play them down. No, they have some really beautiful occult practices like tarot. Okay, it's in par with astrology. I never belittle things which are just because they are not of my culture. Okay, tarot is brilliant. Tarot is beautiful. Okay, it's basically the European yoga. I give the status of the yoga to tarot. All right. But when you talk about the sign system, the sun sign, the moon sign, uh, Jyotish, the astrology per se, then I feel, and I'm doing my best to be as objective and unbiased as possible because I'm an Indian, so it's quite possible that I could get biased towards my native culture, but I assure you that is not. Uh, I've spent few years researching about both. So if you want to really learn astrology, if you want to really use astrology practically, then Vedic is the way. Or the Indian Jyotish. You can call it Indian Jyotish also. All right. Or the Eastern astrology. You can choose your nomenclatures, doesn't matter. All right. But popularly it is called as Vedic astrology. So I hope you guys are understanding things. You have understood what are those 12 houses. You have understood the 12 signs. Each of these houses and each of these signs, you can write a 2,000 pages book on. It's that deep. Each of these signs, Aries, you can create a grantha, a scripture out of Aries. It's that deep. But out of all that, 16 archetypes, sorry, 16 qualities. Each of these signs have 16, 1 6, 16 qualities, which are supremely important, which I teach my students. So if you want to analyze Aries in a particular chart, the 11th house, this is the 11th house, right? And the 11th house has Aries embedded inside it. That means when it comes to the 11th house matters, this person will behave like an Arian. He or she will carry the Aries energy, which is very volatile. And just to give you a reference, 11th house is about income, the money that you make, the cash flow that you earn. If I have to check out someone's money making abilities, I look at the 11th house and I see the sign there. So if it is Aries, then this person is brilliant when it comes to coming up with new ideas how to make money. But then each of these signs have a downside, has a limitation, has a drawback, if you may call so. If you want to use the modern day corporate lingo, then you can call it drawbacks, the downside, the dark side, the shadow side. So each of these signs have a light side and a dark side. So my approach to astrology is all about using these qualities constructively, productively. No matter what sign you have in which house, you are not doomed. You are not doomed to any eternal hell. You can utilize all of these signs constructively. Of course, life does present its own limitations. You have some limitations in your life. I have few limitations in my life. Those limitations can also be clearly decoded. So if you show me a birth chart and when I see it, I can understand, okay, these are the things with which this person can really work on to really beautify his or her life. And these are the things which needs to be accepted. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So, my dear friends, let me conclude. This video addressed the concept of the 12 houses and the 12 signs. And also, I did my bit of ranting and comparing Western astrology with the Vedic or the Indian astrology, and what are the limitations of Western and why should we not get swayed away by the Western concepts. If you want to learn predictions, or rather, if not predictions, if you want to learn how to decode your life or to construct your life using your self awareness, then, then Vedic is the way. All right. Now you might feel that I'm saying my way or my culture's way is the only way. Not at all. There are some wonderful uses of Western astrology as well. But if you want to go deep, if you want to look at your life from a microscope, not superficially, but microscope level, really make some important changes, then Vedic astrology can offer some really beautiful gifts. So thank you so much. Uh, my commitment to you is to be more regular now on and come up with as many uh, practical concepts related to astrology. And I won't claim I'm going to educate you like this, over a YouTube channel. It's not possible for astrology. I don't want to misguide you. I don't want to even entertain you because we have some other wonderful sources for that. But whatever comes up genuinely, and I feel I should share it with the world, with you guys, that I will definitely do. That is my commitment. All right. So thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Goodbye and see you soon.